that after this session, everyone will feel more comfortable using these platforms, whether you want to be the face, which I highly recommend. That's going to be the best way to build trust. But there's ways to do it facelessly, as I'll say, where you don't have to be in front of the camera. You simply are sharing your expertise and a piece of yourself that you're comfortable with so that your audience will know to come to you for the things that you offer. Okay. So we are going to dive in, and I thank you guys for answering the questions in the chat. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to begin at any point. If you have questions, just let me know, and I will stop and answer them to the best of my ability. All right, can I get a hands up for everybody that can see the screen in front of them? My picture from some time ago. All right, thank you. Well, as Cedric said, I'm Angela Taylor. I am the founder of Financial Empowerment Solutions, and I started in financial services in 2017. I started in Primerica. I don't mind saying that. I learned a lot from my experience there, but I decided to get out of captivity after some years with them. I have a background in the medical field. I'm a physical therapist by trade. I'll start my 24th year in that industry, and I just decided there was more that I could do, and there was a population that was underserved, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I launched as an independent agent in 2021, established my own LLC. I've mentored agents. I've done trainings like this on social media, and I have secured 98 of my clients via Zoom. And I got those clients mostly from social media. So I'm an online agent all the way around. I have never purchased a lead, not because I don't think it works. I just have found success on the online platform. And one of the things I'm very proud of, less than 2 years after becoming independent, because as I said, I'm still a physical therapist, I was able to earn 50K part time. So, and again, that was buying no leads, working a full time job as a physical therapist, and being able to do that with telling people who I was in person or mostly on social media. All right. So, a little bit about me. I am the mother of three. I'm married to a Navy veteran named Tori. He was a football player in college and even played for the Jaguars for a moment. Our son, Tori Jr., is at St. Leo College pursuing a degree in pharmacy. My daughter, Harmony, actually owns two businesses. She has her own company that makes skincare and body care. She promotes online, taught by her mother, and she also has heart to heart babysitting. And she's a senior this year. And my son also has his own line of products. And he loves basketball, music, and the Lord. So those are my priorities, and that is why I do what I do. And I had to be able to do healthcare and life insurance to the best of my ability, and social media is that platform. So let's dive right in. Social media that sells for life insurance and Medicare agents. And in the chat, guys, go ahead and tell us who does life and health. What's your niche right now in those markets? Is it both or is it just one? So here's our objectives. Why in the world do we need social media? Because it allows us to show up in a very authentic way where a lot of folks are gathered. You're not going to find unless you're doing, you're on the big stage like Tony, you're not going to find a whole lot of people, a captive audience anywhere else. So it allows us to do this without being salesy, and if we don't want to be in front of a camera, if we're a little shy, we're able to put ourselves out there in a way that reflects our expertise, allows us to build trust, and we're able to turn all of that into a booked appointment. All right. I'm going to check the chat. So, as far as agents, life and health, most of you do both. Awesome. And the things that we'll go over, good for whatever it is that you do. Thanks for those answers. So, as we move forward, the first thing you've got to do is create your persona. That's the first key to successful marketing on social media. You want to answer three questions. Who do you serve? what problem you solve, and what is your niche. So when you are posting, this is what you're trying to convey: who you serve, what you solve, and what is your niche. And that one sentence, I am Angela Taylor, right? I help people solve the money problems that they have without overextending themselves, without having to worry what's going to happen next. Simple statement like that. And you all should have one. And once you build that statement, that is how you will pose your post so that you get that across. So, step one with social media marketing is creating the persona. Who do you want your audience to know you to be in your market? Step two, you've got to create your content buckets. First, you want to teach. You want to have a bucket for teaching, the tips, how to's, the questions that you are answering, frequently answered questions, whether it's about living benefits, whether it's about the enrollment period for Medicare, how old do you have to be? When can you switch your plan? You want to teach folks. That's one bucket. The next is proof. You're putting evidence that you not only know what you're doing, but you've helped some folks. I recently put up a post that did very well. It's actually pinned right now. And I spoke about a real life person that I knew, an 80-year-old, actually 87 by the time he passed, had paid into his policy. But when it came time to actually use that policy, it was no more, because when he turned 80, he got so sick, and it just so happened that he termed out of that policy. And keeping it going would be almost $400 per month. And you guys know how I ended that? My ending was, that person was my dad. Okay. So I didn't get in front of a camera to say that. I wrote that out and then put a picture of my father and I. And that was one of the highest posts for engagement that I've had to date about life insurance, specifically on social media. And from that, several people said, wait, I didn't know that you could, I put some verbiage in the comments about converting the policies that you have, that term shouldn't be the only thing that you had. And from that, I was able to book appointments for people who either wanted a policy review, weren't sure what they had, and weren't sure what to do for their older loved ones. All right. So that's where you go into client stories, results, and testimonials. And then you go to connection. There's a bucket where people need to know who you are. Maybe you don't love to be in front of the camera, may have, maybe some misgivings about how you look or whatnot. You don't have to be made up. You don't have to be a model. You just have to be real, and you have to show up. So I won't say that every day post a selfie, that's too much, but at least put something on your page so someone could say, she's a family person, she's a traveler, she cares about her community. He helps older folks, right? So that people can connect with you. People don't just buy from people that they don't know or have a connection to, right? We can all have the same level of knowledge, but what separates us oftentimes when it comes to social media is people feeling connected. I literally walk down the street. Orlando is a huge place. I live in Orlando. I have people that say, I know you. I don't know these people, never met them in my life. However, they saw me on social media, they saw a post, and they feel connected to me. And that's one of the things you want, so that people, again, will see your face or see your post, connect with it, and then connect with you, so that you can help them solve the problem that they have and then build your business, right? Put money in your pocket. And the term I like to use is reach and revenue. Social media is very simple. It's a simple formula. Increase your reach to increase your revenue. All right. So what are the platforms? What are the platforms that work, and how do we use them? So you want to create a playbook for each of these that you would like to use. I recommend finding one that you absolutely love and are comfortable with, and then a second, because all of your folks may not be right on just one platform. So I would say for me, it's Facebook. And that's where you want to do, a lot of reels if you can. If you feel comfortable, you can do those facelessly, and I'll explain that. You want to go live. You want to get in some groups, moms groups. If you like plants, get in a plant group. You want people to see you not just as a salesperson, but see your name around the social media platforms. Of course, you put static posts. Of course, you put, checking in at a restaurant or your review of a favorite movie, but you're going to get the most reach and then hopefully revenue by going live, creating reels, okay? And then, of course, posting consistently. Instagram carousels really work for fact-based businesses, for those of us that need to share information. And a carousel is simply where you take maybe 5 statements about life insurance, about Medicare, about family, and then you do that select multiple, and then you put those 5 posts together. It doesn't have to be 5, it can be 3. But carousels work really well because Instagram, Facebook, both like it when people stay on their app. So reels, carousels, stories keep people engaged longer than just a scroll, right? So those types of things will help. Also, when you have a story, put a poll in there, right? Ask a question. It doesn't always have to be insurance related. There has to be a mix, all right? When you're on TikTok, you want short tips. You want to dispel myths. And then I don't know if you guys have seen where someone will be talking. The main video is talking, but they put themselves in the corner and they're either looking up and they're listening actively to what's behind them or next to them. But then will pause the video of the other person and then they will talk about that. So you can do that seamlessly with apps like CapCut. There are several other ones. If you want some suggestions, let me know. But you literally can have someone do all the talking about an IUL, about Medicare, or someone once shared a story about how right now in the market, things are not going well for them. Their 401k is going down. Perfect time to take your video of you explaining how they can change that. The content's already there. You're just putting yourself on top of it and being the expert, right? And that works very well in TikTok. With LinkedIn, it helps with payoff posts, carousels, native videos. And again, it's solving a problem. That is more of a professional side. And a lot of times folks are using that more for recruitment than necessarily getting clients, but you can get those there too. And YouTube is excellent way for video media, of course. Shorts, I think, work a bit better just because people's attention spans are not that long. But once you build your audience, then you can go into longer form videos, 45 seconds or more, that can really work to educate clients. So say you sit with someone, you talk to them about an IUL, you talk to them about an annuity, you talk to them about Medicare, you've had that brief meeting, and then you could point them to your YouTube page for an extended or an expanded education. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? So how many of you have a YouTube channel right now? Can we go to the chat and answer that question for me? Who has a YouTube channel? And number 2, is it active? And I've got to get back to the chat. Let me see what you guys have said. All right. So as far as YouTube, okay, no YouTube channel yet. YouTube and it's active. For those who have an active YouTube channel, can you share your link with us? We need to be following one another. That's one of the things we will talk about. You need to follow folks that are in our industry, especially those that are doing well, at least they're having high engagement. That will give you a lot of ideas. You don't need to recreate the wheel. So if you have an active YouTube channel, please in the chat, share that. And guys, go there. Let's get to the information. Also, put your IG handle, put your Facebook handle here. Some of us are posting and it's good content, but we may not be getting the engagement that we want. Following one another and just taking the time to like one of our group's posts or putting a comment to help with their engagement will actually make Facebook, make Instagram, get YouTube to promote those in the algorithm so we can help each other. Okay, we've got a captive group. There's 19 of us. Why not? Thank you, Christine, for sharing that with us. And if anyone else, please put your Instagram handle, your Facebook link, put that information in the chat. All right. So what are best practices? When should we be posting? If you want to take a photo or screenshot of this, it's a good idea because it's not just what you post, it's also when you post. You want to get the most engagement. Facebook has a window for when they're looking for how well a post does and if it's going to help you out with that algorithm. Facebook times, it says Wednesday, 8 to 11. You guys can read all of these, but you can set your post if you have that option. If you're monetized, you do have that option. And some, even if you're not, you should see in the next button on Facebook where you can actually schedule your posts. So it's ideal to save time to put that into practice as well. Instagram has that same capability. I have not seen it on my YouTube, which I am developing. I don't see that scheduling option. So it is a little more cumbersome, but at least set time aside on your schedule midweek so that you can set your shorts in the afternoon and between 2 and 4 Eastern Standard Time are the best time to get those videos uploaded. The best thing to do for your videos is to pre-record them on your phones, do your editing, and like I said, in things like CapCut, so that they're already ready to go. So no matter where you are, when I post, don't tell my boss, but I post plenty of my stuff at work, right? Because I'm there for, 30, 40 hours a day. So if I've got my posts already done and edited, it's just a simple way to upload when I have to do something like a YouTube. But Facebook is typically set. I have a week's worth of posts already set. I usually do that Saturday and Sunday. So it looks like I'm constantly on the book. I'm not. I'm not necessarily there. It's something that I've already set. Thank you, Marquita. Thank you, Stephanie, for those who have posted their links. All right, let's keep it moving. One of the things to check, no matter how you're posting and where you're posting, you want to check your numbers. I'm monetized, so I can literally see how well every single post does in real time. Not everybody has that. You want to look at just the likes. You want to look at the shares. If you're consistently putting out content and it's getting no likes and no shares, you want to rework when you're posting or what you're posting. All right. Again, go to content creators, go to folks on this team that seem to be getting a higher engagement. Look at their posts and see, not necessarily steal it, but rework it so that it works for you in your own voice and in your own point of view, right? Don't keep putting it out there and just thinking, I'll just keep throwing something at the wall. If it's not sticking, it's not going to stick. You really do have to do a little bit of recon to see what's working for others in the social media space. All right. And if after about 3 to 4 weeks, you're not seeing the engagement, again, it is time to regroup, revamp, and, maybe even reach out to someone on the team, or, if you see other content creators that reach out to them and get some help. There are people that actually, do this kind of thing where they will look at your social media and help you revamp it. All right, here's some content ideas. So whether you are a Medicare agent or you mostly do either or, you want to make sure you are kind of thinking about how, again, you're going to present the material. I think that real client stories work really well. I told you about the one with my dad. Book some appointments just off of that. A way to do IUL education. Put the post up. 3 ways an IUL policy can help you retire tax-free and do that in under 60 seconds. That's a great TikTok video to do. One thing about posting on one video on different platforms, TikTok it will actually hinder your reach if you post a TikTok and go right behind it and post to Instagram and Facebook. You want to leave something on TikTok for at least 24 hours before you repost. Even if you're not literally hitting repost, you're actually taking that same video and putting it into other platforms. Give it 24 hours. If you're not one that does TikTok, I recommend doing, Facebook and going to Instagram. They're integrated very well and you can just share. But your reach does go down when these platforms see this rapid fire reposting. So do keep that in mind. One of the ideas for Medicare is a breakdown of common Medicare mistakes and how to avoid it between the annual enrollment period. I don't do Medicare, so I have to admit I did get this one from ChatGPT. But I'm sure there's some things that, again, you'd want to educate potential clients. And if you are one to recruit, here's where you can really shine. You absolutely want to, talk about your life as an agent or those you have helped, those kinds of things. It's not just for getting new clients, it's also for recruitment process too. And one of the other things is an infinite banking insight. Show how someone was able to pay off debt or invest or do things like that with an infinite banking policy. So those are some ideas of things that you could post as videos, as a carousel. You can tell an entire story. Do you guys remember Risa Tisa, who told us like in 100 TikTok videos how some guy had, what did he break up with her or bamboozled her or what have you? You can do something similar with life insurance. You can tell a story over different slides or as a video. You can do a series. Those types of things really work. And again, the 30 to 60-second platform just to make sure that you're not losing people because of attention span. But it keeps people clicking and coming back to your page. All right, so here's a sample script, all right? So you wanna start with the hook. You gotta have a good hook, and I'm telling you the best place to find the hook for anything that you wanna convey, ChatGPT. ChatGPT 5 is epic. I actually pay $20 a month for it. It will spit you out a hook, and if you don't like it, you tell it again, hey, rework that. But if you're doing a sample script, it's something simple. You look right in the camera and you say, an annuity could be the one retirement tool that protects you from outliving your money. Here's how it works in plain English. Think of an annuity like a paycheck. You can never outlive. You put money in either all at once or over time, and in return, you get guaranteed income for life. This is powerful for people who are worried about market ups and downs or running out of savings. Unlike investments that can drop in value, certain annuities protect your principal and still give you growth potential. I just helped a client roll over their 401k into an annuity that will pay them $2,100 every month for the rest of their lives, no matter how long they live. If you want to see what your retirement paycheck could look like, common income, and I'll run you those numbers. I didn't read that before I let ChatGPT give me that. That's something you literally read to the camera. And if you want to be faceless, you can literally put up Canva slides, Canva videos, and just talk over it, right? Show a bag of money or something, show someone a little older, then move the slide and give a video, of a scene that conveys what you're trying to say. If you don't have the best talking voice, you can literally let a Canva or a CapCut read it for you. So once you get the script, you can even use an app called Teleprompter. All those words I just read, it will put it across your screen when you do a selfie video. You don't have to be good at this. You don't have to be good at writing. You don't have to even be great at speaking, but just put the information out there in such a way that someone could see it, benefit from it, call you, and get on your books. Okay? All right. So back to the concept of faceless. What does that mean? It means not getting in front of a camera, speaking, taking a selfie. It's literally putting your content out there and no one sees you, but they hear you. So we talked about the carousel. The B-roll with the voiceover is simply rolling different clips. Canva has free ones. CapCut does too. You put the clips together and either you speak over it, you record your voice speaking, or you put captions that people can read, maybe put a little music on there and you have an entire faceless video. If you look on the right, I kind of showed you how that was done. I used Canva. So I just took, that last picture, over 40% of households would face hardships within 6 months if the primary wage earner died. You can make that a video. You can easily convert that into a video. The middle picture is just one slide that you can use if you're trying to convey a financial concept. And then at the top, did you know debt could be your greatest asset? A wonderful way to introduce infinite banking. And then finally, infographics. Be mindful not to overdo it, but you can put information about an IUL, an annuity, and give people step-by-step instructions, and they never have to see you. And sorry about the slide at the bottom. That was just extra from another slide. All right. So what are your key tips? Figure out how to dedicate time to come up with the campaigns. Use ChatGPT, whatever it is you're looking to do, the direction you want to go in, it could be your guide. You want to post and pour, not just put the information out there, but when people are liking or commenting to what you're saying, that is, they've opened the door for a conversation. So you definitely want to comment up under your post, but you also want to be selective and say, how about taking this from the post to a DM? Hey, I saw you, had some questions about life insurance, or I saw you posted. Thank you for your comment the other day. Please keep me in mind. I do life insurance. I've been helping families, and if you need anything, I'd be happy to chat with you offline, something of that nature. Okay. And again, ChatGPT can give you the whole script. And then make sure you structure your content to let your audience know what you do and who you are, so that you build yourself up as an authority that can be trusted. So it's not what you say, it's also how you say it. So guys, please, please, please keep that in mind. Some of the things that you want to be mindful of is the wording. Some people are off, hear the word life insurance and think death. So you want to use terms that people will connect to and will resonate with them. If you can avoid saying life insurance, talk about wealth, generational wealth, affordability, benefits, cash flow, savings, debt elimination. Try to stay away from words that will immediately have people like, just getting off work, or they've just been through some things, kids screaming at them. They don't want to hear about some of those words on the left. But cash flow, benefits, wealth, that's something that after a long day working for the man, they might want to hear. Okay. And here are some words to completely avoid that will keep the algorithm working against you. Guaranteed approval, get rich, make money fast, even no medical exam. I don't know why, but that flags sometimes in the Facebook algorithm in a negative way. Tax loopholes, free money, secret program, hidden benefit. Click here to learn more. Anything that Facebook feels like, or these apps feel like, will take people away from their platform, it's going to decrease your visibility on the algorithm. All right. So just wanted to show you, and these are some of my older things that I created. Canva can help you create anything. ChatGPT can tell you how to structure it. It will literally tell you what colors to use, the wording to use. It'll give you even ideas of the photographs to put on there. So definitely use apps like that to make this so much easier for you. So again, these are some of the things I did a few years back that did very, very well. You see the one on the right with the kid, that's a great size for your YouTube. The one on the left is more structured for an Instagram. And if you use Canva, again, there is a free version. It will actually show you, oh, this is for Facebook, this is for Instagram, and it will resize it for you so that you could use it on any platform. So these are just, again, some of the examples of things that I created. So want to really quickly give you just some tips to, to kind of takeaways, avoid the hard sell, engage, educate, and enjoy, establish a clear voice, show them who you are. I recommend your business posts no more than 3 to 5 times per week. Anything more than that, you may be just seen as pushy, and Facebook will even hide your post. Use Canva, and CapCut to make sure that you've got the colors and the layouts that are engaging. And like I said, go to other people's posts that have 100, 1,000 likes and figure out how to recreate. And remember, questions, polls, lives, reels work very well on these two platforms. So one of the other things is, if we're doing all this, how do we create that funnel? How do we bring all these tips home to where people connect with us? Part of that is a second exercise. You want to connect with at least 5 people a day on social media. So those that have liked your post, go to their page, type something out, wish them a happy birthday. Don't just put stuff out and not go support those who are supporting you. Okay. You kind of start with a list of who's kind of in your eye: realtors, tax professionals, people that have kids going to college, people that just had, a child, the same way you would do with marketing for your business. Think about it that way on social media. React to their posts, be intentional about what you're saying. You want them to see you, right? So do more than just a like, put a comment, and start networking with them when, it seems right. Once you've made some posts, you see that, they're engaging with you with them, then you can go to those DMs and again, create that funnel. And this is just an example of someone I saw. I thanked him for accepting my friend request and told him what I do. He and I actually did meet not long after we had this conversation. So again, this is before ChatGPT, but now you tell ChatGPT, hey, this is a business owner. This is what he does. He seems to like fitness. He seems to like PR. How do I best respond to him? And that's how you can create a kind of an organic funnel with these folks offline. All right. So let's see, Facebook and IG tips. Remember, like we said, the polls. Make sure your posts are informative and engaging. Put some funny stuff in there and some fluff too. If you look at my page, it's definitely not all life insurance. Those that entertain get far more shares. You still need people to see all of you and not, because again, seeing something about life insurance, annuities, IULs, and Medicare every day is not exciting to people. But they'll stay for that if you give them a little bit more. Here's some common hashtags for our industry. Never do more than 2 or 3. It's just not necessary. Back in the day, they tell you to put 100 hashtags. You don't need it, but just see which ones work best for you. Sorry, I went backwards, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so we got the hashtags. Here's some tips to take home with you for your YouTube. Research your competition, make sure you're informational, and use relevant tags with your videos. With TikTok, focus on storytelling. Find similar influencers, be consistent, and your key elements, you got to have a hook, you got to have that call to action, and give them something that they wouldn't necessarily get from somewhere else. Media helps you reach so many people. Sorry about that, guys. You need to make sure that you're educating, you're promoting yourself, and in that reach creates that revenue for sure. Thank you for attending. I hope you got something out of that. There is more to that funnel creation. We can get into that at another class. I wouldn't mind coming back to show you guys how you can even create those funnels that go right into the DMs. But it's really key first to establish yourself as an expert, as someone people trust, where your persona is obvious and people know who you are on social media, so that they will come to you so that you can book appointments just from a simple post. Thank you, guys.
That was amazing. Everybody come on, let's give a hand.
Great job.
Great
Thank
job,
you.
Angela.
That
Thank
was
you
awesome.
so
Thank you,
much.
thank you, thank you.
That
Y'all
was
weren't just trying to puff me up, right? Like that
No.
actually was informative.
No,
this
not
is
at
great
all.
information.
No, that
Thank
was-
you so much.
I got
you.
so many
You're
notes and so
Thank
many
you.
screenshots. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Angela, thank you so much for that. I definitely have a couple things to share before we wrap up for the night, and she went straight through it. Thank you again. I told you that's the insurance twin right there. So I'm gonna stop this recording.